This video will focus on the dorsal root ganglion of the peripheral nervous system. In a different video, we focus on the peripheral nerve. And remember that a nerve is a bundle of axons in the peripheral nervous system. But a neuron contains more than axons. A neuron contains the cell body or the soma, which is where the nucleus and all of the other important organelles are located. The dorsal root ganglion contains the cell bodies of sensory neurons. A ganglion is a cluster of cell bodies in the peripheral nervous system. What you see in front of you right now is the cell body, the cluster of cell bodies called the ganglion, specifically the dorsal root ganglion. You can see that the dorsal root ganglion is surrounded by significant layers of connective tissue, as well as a wrapping of adipose tissue. Remember that adipose tissue has cushioning and protective properties. I like to say that adipose tissue is your body's bubble wrap, and your body will wrap all of its delicate organs in adipose tissue to give them a little bit of extra cushioning and protection. So here we see cell bodies all through here, and then pockets in the center. And we can see that round cell body structure. We can also see a series of linear strands that almost resemble axons, and that's because they are. The cell bodies cannot exist alone. They must be connected to an axon. So the axons can enter and leave the dorsal root ganglion. If we move to the 10x objective, we see the cell body within the dorsal root ganglion, and we can also see those beautiful axons entering and leaving the dorsal root ganglion. I want to draw your attention to some of these cell bodies so that we can look more closely at their structure. Here we see the cell body of a peripheral neuron. And again here, we can see that the cell body seems to be surrounded by a series of nuclei, where here's the nucleus of the neuron. This is the nucleolus of that neuron. And here we see that the neuron cell body is surrounded by a series of nuclei. Those nuclei are part of a special type of glial cell called a satellite cell. In the peripheral nervous system, the satellite cell surrounds the cell body of the neuron in the same way that the Schwann cell wraps the axon of the neuron. Let's move back to a lower magnification so we can see a more global view of the dorsal root ganglion.